Thanks for tuning in to the Old Dirty Basement. On this week's episode, we're covering Gypsy Rose.
This is such a sad story. The story of a troubled childhood, even into young adulthood.
Yeah, we'll see how a young lady with disabilities and a second grade education and a person with an 82 IQ, how they try to get away with murder.
Let's check it out, yeah. We hope you're enjoying the podcast. Speaking of which, if you are, leave that 5-star rating on Spotify. On Apple, you can leave us a written review. And sit back, relax, and enjoy the story of Gypsy Rose.
This is the Old Dirty Basement, home to debauchery, madness, murder, and mayhem. A terror-filled train ride deep into the depths of the devil's den.
With a little bit of humor.
History.
And copious consciousness.
I'm your announcer, Shallow Throat. Your hosts are Dave, Matt, and Zap. I love you, Matthew McConaughey. All right, all right, all right.
Hey, this is Dave.
Matt.
And Zap.
And welcome to the Old Dirty Basement,
where every week we cover a true crime,
murder,
or compelling story.
So sit back,
relax,
and comprehend.
Hello, my friends. Hello, and welcome back to the Old Dirty Basement. I am Matt. With me, as always, is Dave and Zap.
What's going on?
I am very happy to be here.
As always.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
For today's crazy adventure.
Yes.
It's crazy. I mean, I'll just jump right in and thank you, Matt, for bringing this one. This is a suggestion from Matt, and we took it and ran with it. I had never heard of this one, and holy shit, am I just blown out of my mind.
It's not you can understand like the one part of the story, but just like how the stuff behind it, like when we get into it, there's a lot of layers to the cake.
So many layers. Yeah. This is a big onion.
Yeah, this is hot news right now for sure. I do know, like Zap said, there's a lot of people not aware of it. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are aware of it, maybe searching for something about this.
And those people may or may not include my 85-year-old mother. But other than that.
Was she aware of it?
No, she doesn't know who.
Oh, okay.
No. She doesn't know Gypsy Rose from Gypsy Road from Gypsy, Montana.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but this is a good one for sure. Looking forward to it.
Speaking of vintage album review, Gypsy Road was from the, I think that was either Night Songs or Long Cold Winter album.
Indeed, it was Cinderella's Long Cold Winter album.
Yes.
So if I'm not mistaken, Gypsy Road was the lead single, their first single off of that album.
Long Cold Winter.
Yeah.
I remember Night Songs I got in 8th grade for our, I remember it was a purple album. I was very hyped to get it. I got it from my friend Jenna, who I went to 8th grade with.
Jenna.
Jenna.
Yeah, she was my secret Santa. And I remember to this day.
Keep it in the closet.
Yeah. But she got
your copy of it.
Yeah. And it was a fun thing.
What format?
It was a tape.
It was a cassette.
It was a cassette tape.
Nice. Cassettes are making a comeback too, just like vinyl.
Night Songs. So if Matt, please correct me if I'm wrong, and I hope you listened to that cassette over and over and over again. Was Nobody's Fool on that album?
Yes, I'm no fool. Nobody's fool.
There you go.
Nobody's Fool.
Which has never again. No.
Since been covered by a few different bands, a few different artists, and in fact, Tom Kiefer has since come back to re-record that with the lead singer, who's a chick from. It's not Evanescence. It's
from this starts with a P.
Maybe
Pantera.
No,
it's like her last name has something to do with the name of the band. Maybe
it's not that band from around here, right?
You could, if we started fingerboxing, we could find it. But anyway,
that might be a mailbag item.
It's a
Hailstorm or something like that.
No,
it is.
Is it really?
Hailstorm.
Yeah, they're from like Lancaster or Central PA band.
I think they're from around here. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah,
they are.
I think so.
Hailstorm's from Central PA.
Anyway, he did a duet with that. Tom Kiefer did a duet with that lead singer chick, and dude, it is awesome.
Nice.
Just awesome. Powerful.
But yeah,
powerful.
we're just throwing in little vintage cinema stuff, or vintage album review stuff in there
for the upcoming vintage album review podcast. Excited. One other thing on that too, there's a cool Netflix documentary called "Squaring the Circle," and it's all about the guys back in the '60s that developed some of the most iconic album artwork Dark Side of the Moon,
Oh, okay.
Led Zeppelin, like
1, 2, 3, and 4.
Houses of the Holy, or is that what it is? House of the Holy.
Some of that Beatles stuff.
Yeah, he did the. Actually, it was.
Yellow Submarine.
It wasn't the Beatles, but they did Wings, which was like
Okay.
a McCartney
That
and
was
his
all
wife
McCartney.
project. Yeah,
With Wings, yes.
Squaring the Circle on Netflix. Check that out.
Not to be confused with the squared circle, which is what they call a wrestling ring,
Oh, really?
or Vinnie Mac.
Yeah. Listen here, brother.
Vincent McMahon.
Vinnie Mac, who has since resigned his
Nice.
presidency.
Once I get him in the squared circle.
That's right.
That was my bad Macho Man.
No, it was
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
I think I know a guy that sounds like that. I think all three of us know a guy that kind of sounds like
I
that.
think we do. You don't even know.
All right. Man,
Okay.
were we off the fucking tracks on that one?
That's okay.
That's right. That's exactly right. We're just getting warmed up. All right. So today, Gypsy Rose Blancharde. Now, a little bit about Gypsy Rose. She was born on July 29th, 1991 in Golden Meadow, Louisiana, to Rod Blancharde and his wife, Claudine Dee Dee Blancharde. So at the time, Dee Dee was 24. Rod was only 17.
Yeah,
Wow.
Rod met her at a bowling alley.
For real.
Yes.
For real?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, Rod met her at the bowling alley. They had a couple drinks and ended up back in Rod's car.
Damn.
That's fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
as you might not be surprised, that marriage didn't last.
No.
They separated when Rod turned 18.
17.
Dude, he's only 17.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Kip Winger.
It all comes back.
That
It
winger.
all comes back.
Now I don't know if you guys saw they have a documentary on this, but these folks are from
Oh,
Louisiana.
the deep.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
The
Deep
accents.
South.
Like you couldn't even they needed. I had to put the words on the
Subtitles.
bottom.
Mhm. Yeah.
I was like, what the hell did that guy just say?
It was like that coach from Waterboy.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly what he sounded like.
Mhm.
Oh, God. So, dude, I'm sorry. Look, it's not funny. Like, it's not funny that this dude skipped out on his kid and his wife when he was 18. But, I mean, this is the result of poor choices.
Hey, Rod
Yeah.
tried.
Yeah.
Rod tried.
He tried. So from as early as infancy, Gypsy Rose was plagued with developmental issues. Like, poor girl. She had sleep apnea as early as 3 months old. Could you imagine a baby that's got sleep apnea?
Yeah, I don't even know how you
I've
diagnose that.
never heard of that.
I don't even know. Muscular dystrophy, leukemia, and asthma, to name a few.
Yeah, you say that, Zap. I actually pulled up her list. I saw it on the internet here, and it said her mom would put her when they would go visit doctors as having epilepsy, vision impaired, hearing impaired, gastro reflux, quadriplegia. What is that? A quadriplegic?
No, I don't.
I think that's the
maybe
name
it
of
could
a Def Leppard album.
That's
Might
a
be.
good one.
Yeah.
Muscular dystrophy, anemia, hypoventilation, which she needed her CPAP for, asthma, allergies, mental retardation, leukemia, incontinence, lung disease, and heart murmurs.
God damn, this
Wow.
poor girl.
And that's
That
what
is-
her mom would put when they would visit any sort of doctors.
Checking all those
checking all
boxes
these
off.
boxes.
So I wonder, and that's the thing. I wonder if she was the impetus to have the checkbox system versus just having a blank sheet of paper.
Right. Right.
So it's like,
I need
many-
another sheet, sir.
Yeah.
write down the ailments you have. Instead, nah, fuck it.
Check the
Here's
ones
a
you don't.
checklist.
The doc-
Yeah.
the doctor's like, how many the doctors all say she got this. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, indeed, Gypsy Rose was also alleged to have the mental capacity of a 7-year-old, brought on by brain damage resulting from her being prematurely born. So I guess that's on the list, or
Yeah.
makes the list. Well, if things couldn't get any worse, poor Gypsy Rose was actually involved in a motorcycle accident at the age of 7 while riding on the back of the bike while her grandfather drove. Fortunately, doctors gave her a wheelchair for her to use.
Mm.
Gypsy Rose was removed from public school system as early as 2nd grade, leaving her to be homeschooled by her dear mother, Dee Dee.
Yeah, that riding on the back of a motorcycle, like you never feel more vulnerable than when you're riding. Like, you know what I mean? Just on because you have no control,
There's
and there's no way to be like masculine on the back either when you're riding on the back. You know what I mean? Like, you got to hold on.
It's
And,
like a big thing in like other countries. You
Right,
see these
right.
guys on small motorbikes, like 3 guys sitting on the back,
yeah, they're
like a moped.
hugging on them.
Well, I think of Full Metal Jacket, like the guys riding around like Vietnam back in the 60s or 70s. I'm saying the locals,
Right.
where you see all of that shit, or even now to this day. Yeah, it's mass transit
or
on
Dumb
one little
and, Dumb
bike.
and Dumber
Yeah. It just doesn't look
Precisely.
good. I'd face the other way, I think. It would look more mad.
Yeah.
You know what I
with
mean?
your hands backward.
Yeah.
Just look the other way, yeah.
So I know dudes who've ridden motorcycles for their entire lives, or kids that come up riding dirt bikes, and they look. When you start that and you have no fear, or you have much less fear than, let's say, mid-40s guys like us. Sure, no problem. You grow into it, and that makes sense. There is no chance you're going to get me ever on a motorcycle, ever.
Not now, no.
Not now.
No.
Leave me with four wheels. I'm good with four wheels.
Yeah, there's no turning back. You're going to get in an accident on a motorcycle.
100%.
There was a brief time where I was contemplating getting a motorcycle after being married, and I think right before kids.
Well, I'm glad your wife talked you off the cliff
She
on that
did.
one.
I wanted one of those. It's a Triumph. There was a
very
dealer
nice.
down in High Spire, actually,
Yeah.
your hometown. There. Was that Triumph dealer? Is that right?
Kawasaki.
Okay.
It's Kalps.
Okay.
Yes.
But
Kalps Kawasaki is in Oberlin or Bresler.
Oberlin, it's Tri-C somewhere. Oberlin and not
Tri-C.
Bresler.
On
This-
the way to the East Mall, soon to close.
this dealership was right on the main drag in High Spire. I think it was a
Yes.
Triumph dealer.
Sure.
But I've always heard that guys that ride say it's not if you're gonna fall off, it's when or whatever. Those type things. So.
That's where I bought my Ducati at Kalps.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Nice.
And then I wrecked it.
You had a Kawasaki's?
No, Ducati.
Oh, Ducati.
Yes.
Is that Italian?
That's Italian
Yes, yes.
for
That's Italian.
accident.
For faster accidente.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Grazie.
definitely soon to happen.
Buonasera. That's Italian for buonasera.
Good something.
Prego.
Spaghetti sauce.
Yes.
All right. Well, as time wore on and unable to make ends meet, Gypsy Rose and her mother moved in with Dee Dee's father and stepmother. Not long after, Gypsy Rose and her mother relocated to Slidell, just outside of New Orleans, until Hurricane Katrina forced the two to relocate to Aurora, Missouri.
Mm.
To brace Gypsy Rose for the inevitable, her mother regularly shaved Gypsy Rose's head, as the medications she was taking would ultimately make her hair fall out anyway. Years passed, and Gypsy Rose found her way to the internet. In 2012, now in her very early 20s, she met a young man from Wisconsin named Nicholas Godejohn through a Christian singles website. It's like Tinder for Christians.
Yeah.
There's a farmers only website or something.
Oh, farmersonly.com. Yeah.
Something like that. Like if you want to bang other farmers, that's where you go.
For farmers only.
I'm
Yeah.
serious. It's a thing. Like there's countless numbers of them. There's plenty of fish in the sea or some shit like for people in their silvers, right? So they're like retirees.
Well, there's for like the Jewish community, they have J-Date. I think it's called.
That's correct.
Like J-Date, I remember on Stern they would talk about and stuff. Like there's always for certain groups or whatever, they have like different dating sites and stuff. So Christian Mingle, like is that the one you said right here?
Yeah.
It was called Christian. Or I don't know if this one was Christian Mingle, but that is one. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you said single. Yeah, it is a Christian singles website.
Oh, Christian singles. Okay.
You say J-Date. So friend of a friend, both lived in D.C. at the time. The one guy moved to Virginia. The guy that stayed in D.C. ended up moving away from D.C., moved out of D.C. He's an attorney. He moved out to the West Coast. He's a patent lawyer. One of the impetus for him leaving D.C., he had dated every available and decent woman on J-Date in the D.C. area.
He exhausted it.
I guess.
Exhausted.
I guess so. Or maybe he just had high standards.
Maybe. Could be.
I don't know.
That's crazy though.
Priests just have altar boys.
Oh,
Too
hey,
soon.
It's like
Too
their own
soon.
service.
Yeah, right.
Too soon. So Nicholas Godejohn. All right. So despite
Oh, yeah. Go on about this guy.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
Let's go to John.
Yeah, let's go to John.
oh, let's go to John.
All right.
Despite Nicholas having an IQ of 82,
Is that good?
that's that's
Okay.
2 digits.
I don't know.
You were always
Like
hoping for 3 digits.
160, 180, 160.
If you
Yeah.
if you recall Forrest Gump,
Mhm.
the one school when Forrest Gump is in grade school or trying to get into grade school, the principal of the school right before he bangs Forrest's mom,
Mm-hmm.
says, your kid's like right about here, which was below the acceptable level. Yeah, you're in the double digits there.
Okay, so this is not good.
No.
So
That's
this
not
isn't
a good double D.
This isn't like a grade, like 82 be, not too bad.
Out of 100, sure.
Yeah, that's like a B, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 So despite this cat
B dumb.
be dumb,
Right.
old Nick had an IQ of 82 and a history of mental illness, including something we've discovered, or something we've covered, dissociative identity disorder, along with autism. Despite all of that, Gypsy Rose fell for this guy.
Mm.
The long-distance relationship blossomed, and the two developed a plan for them to meet, wink, wink, which would simultaneously afford Nicholas the opportunity to meet Gypsy Rose's mother. In March 2015, while at a showing of Cinderella, the two finally met in person, with Nicholas having traveled nearly 600 miles from Wisconsin.
I didn't even know Cinderella was still touring at this time.
The band, yeah.
Yeah.
They were. It was the.
Wow. Oh yeah. Hey.
It was the
came
best
around.
of. It was the best of
okay.
tour.
But
All the hits.
you guys were saying where Gypsy Rose and her mom, like during this time, her mom was using her like she was getting like Make-A-Wish Foundation stuff. They were getting trips to Disney.
All kinds of stuff.
Their
yeah.
home was built by Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah. Which is nice. I mean, this poor girl's like, you know,
going through it.
Yeah, and she's such a sweet girl, and like people are coming to like, see her and stuff like that, and they're saying her mom would always be holding her hand.
Mm-hmm.
And if she would get like these things, like maybe get up or get excited, her mom would squeeze her hand,
Grab her hand.
to like let her know, like, no, you're sitting down, no, you're doing this, you're acting like this, you're going to be the way that your mom's telling you to do because we need this money.
Yeah.
Not telling her that, intentionally or actively telling her that, but letting her know the signs that you're in this wheelchair, you're slow, you know what I mean?
it's
Right,
like,
right.
keep it, calm yourself down here. You're a sick young girl
Yeah, so
here.
you can't get too excited.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
You're giving off the wrong impression here.
Mm.
And this Godejohn dude, man, it's like
600 miles he went.
600 miles to see that ass.
well, that's the good wet. She must have had the good wet.
Yeah.
But anyone can get laid in America, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. If this
Laid
guy
in
is-
America.
IQ of 82.
Look, this is simple, man. There's a pot for every lid. Wait, no, there's a lid for every pot.
So these two were going at it online, like back and forth, and she had little like names she would come up with, like alter egos for herself, I guess, to kind of like
Little Miss Kitty and
yeah, it was Kitty and Ruby.
Meow.
And she was posting stuff like, and this sounds like a Slayer lyric to me, but I live and breathe to serve my master. She'd put that on Facebook, on like social media, and she's talking about this guy.
Well, yeah, this with Godejohn, right?
Yeah, this Godejohn guy.
Godejohn, I think he I don't think he was posting stuff to her too that he was into BDSM. And like, are you going to be a good? Like, I thought it was a boy band. Like when they first, I was like, yeah, BDSM.
Yeah, I know them. They're from
them.
Korea, I think.
That's
like
correct.
K-pop.
K-pop.
stuff. Yeah.
But I guess it means like bondage, discipline, sadist, dominance, sadism type thing. So it's like a whole thing. And he would send her like pornographic pictures of like the beast and like beauty, like in
really?
like negligee,
Doing like dirty stuff.
or like Belle with like a little short skirt on. He's like, you need to listen to me. And I guess
And the beast with hot, throbbing, carnal urges.
Yeah.
exactly. But I guess Gypsy Rose is like, well, I was always been taught that the man is dominant. So like whatever he wanted,
She would just go
yeah,
with it.
I would do.
Right.
So
So
it's like
that's
this guy.
submissive stuff.
And he even had other girlfriends. Like I guess the ex-girlfriend called Gypsy Rose.
What, this guy had other girlfriends?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he
Oh, hell no. Who's that
that's what she
bitch?
said. She's like, what are you talking to my man for?
Well, I didn't know
That's
all that.
Godejohn.
Man, John,
He's gutting me viciously.
let me smell your dick. Where you been?
That's what I'm saying. This dude was like a pimp, man.
82.
Christian Mingles, where it's at.
Christian Mingle giving him the tingle.
Mm-hmm.
IQ of 82. He'll come to you.
Yeah.
God damn, Godejohn.
You got to get that guy directions, though. It's gonna be hard for him to find.
Damn, 82. I think of Cletus, the slack-jawed yokel from The Simpsons. That's just
His might have even been higher. That might have been like a 90-something.
Look, I saw a picture of this guy.
Oh, I did too.
I've got to call him.
Yeah.
I know him as Cletus. Despite her frailties and disabilities, Gypsy Rose was ready to move on with her life and start a new one with Nicholas. Dee Dee, the ever consummate caretaker of Gypsy Rose, would be an obstacle for Gypsy Rose to overcome, as surely mother knows best.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as far as Gypsy Rose was concerned, however, Dee Dee stood in the way of her becoming her own person. Not long after their meeting at the movies, Gypsy Rose and Nicholas hatched a plan to murder poor Dee Dee.
What?
A few months later, the plan came to fruition. In June 2015, Nicholas returned to Missouri with one goal: kill Dee Dee and start a life with Gypsy Rose. And within a few days of arriving, Nicholas arrived at Gypsy Rose's house one night and murdered Dee Dee in her sleep by stabbing her in the back 17 times while she slept. One more time.
17.
17. Kip Winger.
Right?
Man, it's
in a
17 is the
circle.
magic
It
number.
always comes back.
Nicholas and Gypsy Rose took whatever cash they could find, laid low for a few days at a local motel, then hightailed it to Nicholas's place in Wisconsin. Damn!
I'm sure that was a seedy motel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
I can
guessing.
just picture that.
Now, Dave, you were saying about how Gypsy Rose she met her boo at the movies, right?
Yeah, I guess that was Cinderella the movie.
Yeah, Cinderella the
Not the
movie.
band.
Not the
but-
band, no.
not the
They were not
band.
at the show.
But and I guess she was very turned on by this guy and wanted to meet him in the bathroom. Did you hear anything about that?
I did hear about
Oh.
that.
I have heard of these allegations as well.
Yeah.
Shame on that kid.
No, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead with
What's that?
what do you know about this story?
Well, I guess like she knew her mother wouldn't approve of her having a relationship with anybody. So, you know, they concocted this plan to meet at the movie theater and kind of act like they just kind of ran into each other there. The mother was like, what grown man comes to see Cinderella, you know what I mean, by himself? And
Right.
She was very suspicious
Sure, as
of
well
what
she
was
should
going
be.
on. Allegedly, at one point, Gypsy Rose got up and said, I got to use the bathroom, went into the bathroom, and he shortly, I guess, followed behind, and some loving went on, I guess,
Is
in the bathroom.
in the bathroom.
That's what allegedly happened. I
Yeah,
don't know.
in the men's room. And like you said Gypsy Rose gets up. So didn't she have to wheel herself out there?
I'm thinking about that too. Like,
Yeah, I don't know about that. You
That-
know what? They didn't say that.
Yeah, they didn't say that. So she's with her mom at the movie theater. I'm sure she had to wheel up
Yeah.
and out towards the bathroom.
Maybe she wheeled out and then he took it from there. I don't know.
those handicap stalls have
Yeah, they're very
railings
large.
galore.
They're very
Railings galore,
large.
and they are large. So you can
Right.
get some wild ass freaky deaky time on.
Yeah, so she could have wheeled herself out there. I don't know how she got out there, but he was supposedly with her.
Mhm.
And
Like
yeah.
Abraham was with Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Biblically.
That's a biblical reference.
And at this time, she's in her 20s, right? 20.
It's 2015. She was born in 1991, so she's pushing 24.
24. She's an adult.
Shit, yeah, she's an adult
But that's the whole reason that she
with
Concocted.
throbbing carnal urges.
concocted
Right.
this plan was to just she wanted to get laid. Like she told him, I
Right.
want to have sex. I don't care where we're going to do it at the movies. The kid's like, how are we going to do it at the movie? I mean,
Right.
82 IQ.
Right.
So it's like, how can we do that at the movies? I don't understand. She was like, freaking bathrooms, you idiot.
She,
He
look,
wasn't-
there's a bathroom. I'm not
Yeah.
saying we got to do it in the theater.
Yeah.
You can
Just
step
do it in the
out.
You can
bathroom.
step out of the theater.
And I'm sure they were so worked up and wet. It didn't take
Didn't
long
matter.
for
No.
exciting things to
I
happen.
just finished. You know, he don't know about the hole in the popcorn trick. He
No,
just did that.
he's too young.
It's again, I'm glad that we had this history together. Thank you, Matt, for the hole in the popcorn trick when we were kids. To be clear, telling me about the hole in the popcorn trick.
like-
I was like, wait a minute.
Wait, what movie?
Absolute specificity.
What movie was
Yeah.
that?
For telling me about the hole in the popcorn trick.
Yeah.
A little handy dandy.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Don't forget the candy.
You got to dump out some of the popcorn, depending on who you are.
Yeah.
I can go full on.
No, and again, this this Godejohn cat too. Like he was being questioned, and they were asking him. I guess he said to Gypsy Rose that he wanted to do her mom or have sex with her mom when he killed her. So
Yeah, I did hear that.
they questioned him like, did you touch her with your penis? Did you do anything to her? Did you have sex with her when she was dead? Are you into that? He's like, I'm not really into that too much.
Necrophilia.
Oh,
Yeah, necrophilia.
Right.
And they even questioned him about that, and he was like, "No, I didn't do it. I didn't do it." But after he killed her, he went to the room where Gypsy was, got her up, and then they had sex.
Yeah, they did have sex.
and then she like
Dang.
blew him.
She was supposedly, when this was all going on, in the bathroom on the floor covering her
Yes.
ears. And just kind of as like she made sure everything was unlocked and that he could come in and
He
it was
snuck
all
through the
planned
bathroom, I
through
think.
Yeah, well, I think she unlocked a door for him to come in,
Mm-hmm.
and then she ran in the bathroom, covered her ears, sat on the floor. But the mother was screaming for her name, like to help, like I need, screaming and yelling.
So I had heard a different. I understand what you're saying, but I think I heard that a bit differently. And by heard, to be clear, I had read that Gypsy Rose, in her statement, had said that Godejohn. What a great name.
To jail.
That Godejohn
jail.
actually raped her or was forcibly having non-consensual, sex with her. And while that was going on, she was screaming for her mother, for her dead-ass mother.
Okay.
Like, no, I don't want it. It was so good at the theater. No, I don't want it. I don't want it.
But
Mom,
see,
help me. Oh,
But
Mama,
the
you're
mom was
dead.
already dead
Yeah.
by then.
But I think that's what they were like into, the non-consensual thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Could be role playing and stuff.
Role playing.
a friend of mine is was at one point in the Tinder world. So from what I gather, so I use Tinder as the for example for this. So these two, 600 miles apart. This girl's in a wheelchair doing whatever she's doing, all of her afflictions. And old 82 IQ Godejohn, Nicholas, is out there, doing his thing. So it's basically phone sex back and forth. It's exchanging text messages, exchanging emails, getting each other all worked up. So
Right.
I relay that. I associate that with the Tinder thing. So according to my one buddy, he'd said by the time you meet somebody face to face on Tinder or whatever, there is a 100% chance you're having sex with them.
It's a done deal.
It is done.
Yeah, it's a done deal.
It is going to happen.
Yeah, because you've done all the pregame
Absolutely.
already.
Everybody's all hot and bothered.
Yeah. You do all that via text,
Mhm.
pictures, that type stuff.
Yeah,
Imagine-
that was pretty much the whole relationship.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so, as Matt had aptly pointed out, imaginations start going wild, and old BDSM, K-pop, medieval on her ass, Nicholas Godejohn is just out there. Who knows what he's thinking? He's
Right.
just, oh my God, man, I bet she could wear like a suit of armor while I'm, doing whatever.
They were in like the role playing and
All kind of weird,
dominance.
funky shit. Yeah.
Not that if you're into that out
role-play.
there, if you're into
Role-playing.
that, that's cool. We're not.
No.
I want to pin that I'm going to pin that role playing. Yeah.
Role play, okay.
So, yeah, I can't forget that one. All right. So, days went by, and despite neighbors' efforts to contact Dee Dee, there was no response. No returned calls, no answers at the door to the house, no nothing. The police were soon contacted and ultimately made their way into the house. There, they found Dee Dee, dead as fried chicken. Just as concerning, however, was the finding of Gypsy Rose's wheelchairs, oxygen tanks, feeding tubes, and medications, but no sign of Gypsy Rose.
How could she survive?
I don't know. Authorities and townsfolk feared the worst, that Gypsy Rose had been kidnapped. It was thanks to a neighbor, Aaliyah Woodmansey, that police were put on the right track. As it turns out, Gypsy Rose had confided in Aaliyah about her relationship with Nicholas. Police did some digging and found that certain Facebook status updates posted to Dee Dee's account had originated from Wisconsin, made to appear as though they were Dee Dee's posts. Nicholas's house in Wisconsin was raided soon thereafter, and therein, Nicholas and Gypsy Rose surrendered to the authorities. Despite Missouri locals being relieved to hear that Gypsy Rose was found safe and sound, the Gypsy Rose they knew turned out to be someone completely different from reality. Gypsy Rose hadn't been confined to a wheelchair. She didn't need medical equipment or medications. In fact, she had no debilitating conditions whatsoever.
It's a miracle.
It's Christian mingles, Christian singles,
Yeah.
Christian miracles.
It happens.
Miracles can happen. Miracles do come true. Wait, no, dreams do come true.
Yes,
So maybe the house was making her sick.
maybe.
Mold issues? Maybe.
Could be.
And like you said, a miracle. The house.
Right.
Yeah, it's very strange.
It's shocking to me. I feel shocked
Again-
or confused.
Confused.
Yeah.
Again, these two were so naive that they had all the evidence of everything on text messages, instant messenger,
Yeah, they didn't really
direct
think it out.
messenger, Facebook, YouTube. Like,
It's like giving your cell phone number to the guy at Christie's auction house.
yes.
I mean, this guy's an 82, so I don't, I wouldn't expect like, a great heist or like, you know what I mean? Like on the level of what you see in movies or anything like that.
No.
It's probably going to be that thought out.
They didn't plan this very well.
It'd be cool if you had like a shirt, like 82, like vintage. And it'd be like,
Yeah.
that's going to be like, what's that? Like my IQ.
Vintage IQ review.
It's fantastic.
But this,
I thought you were born then. No, that's my IQ.
vintage, yeah. But this, when they actually did, the neighbors were like, you do a wellness check and all that.
Sure.
So the one neighbor, I guess, or a person involved.
Which makes sense, because if you saw Dee Dee,
Yeah.
that's a huge bitch.
Yeah, she's not the healthiest.
Yeah.
So they actually went along with the police, and the police are like, we can't really go in the house, but you can. Like, they don't have a warrant.
Yeah, they let her go through the window.
And it was a girl or guy, I guess, went through the window and went in and was like, I don't see anything, but that stuff was laying around within that time frame of the person going in the house. I guess that the paperwork came through or whatever, and they got the call, yeah, you can go in now. And then the police went in and found
Stormed the castle.
right, and found her dead body and all that.
I had read that one of those stabs was in the neck, and it was so vicious it almost decapitated her.
Oh man,
Ooh.
that's brutal.
That's a tick one.
Yeah.
But this Nick was saying, Nicholas Godejohn.
Big Dick Nick.
Big Dick Nick. He was stating that he was telling Gypsy Rose that was his evil side. He had an evil side, and he was able to do it because he loved her so much, and she was begging him to do it. So he was like, I'm going to go through with it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And the way too, when the authorities came in and they said, like, yeah, they saw the wheelchair, like, this girl can't do anything by herself.
Yeah.
Right.
She must have been kidnapped.
Yeah, where the hell is
somebody's
this girl?
holding her hostage, because they were in the spotlight kind of
Mm-hmm.
in that community because of everybody helping them. They always had like GoFundMes and
Yeah.
this and that.
Living in that Habitat for Humanity house you mentioned.
Yeah, they had to like move that bus.
yeah, like that total home makeover or whatever.
Yeah, they had like people moving shit for them.
Move that bus.
Yeah.
See what's going on behind there.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it? We were just talking about it, and man, I had a thought, but now it's gone. Oh well,
It'll come back.
A fleeting thought.
Yes.
So Matt, curious. You seem to be in the know about this. You seem to be questioning motives as we're going here. What do you know that we don't about old Gypsy Rose?
Well, I think she had a pretty tough childhood. I mean, with all the things that she had, all of her, what are those, afflictions? Is that what they would call
Sure.
them?
Mm-hmm.
What if she really didn't have them? What if they were like being forced upon her?
Is that possible?
Mm.
I think so.
Is it?
I don't know. I mean,
That
does
is
it
a
tell
thing,
us,
right?
Does it tell us? I think it is. I think it's called Munchausen by proxy.
Yeah.
Anybody hear of that? Anyone?
Well, Matt, as it turns out, Dee Dee wasn't exactly the saintly and caring mother she'd led everyone to believe she was.
Oh my!
Oh. That sleep apnea we talked about as early as 3 months old, the muscular dystrophy, leukemia, asthma, everything else you listed relative to her developmental disabilities, all of that was made up. The wheelchair that resulted from the motorcycle accident, that was Dee Dee's doing. Taking Gypsy Rose out of the public school system and, ultimately, not schooling her at all was actually an attempt at isolating Gypsy Rose from the outside world.
You know, when you say that, Zap, for that point there, she had a second grade education. She was never really homeschooled or anything like that.
It
at
stopped.
Home.
That's correct.
Yeah, she would just hang out with her mom, hang out with other people,
Watch
TV.
Disney movies and stuff, yeah.
That's how she learned.
So there's actually a fun fact. I'll pull it out now since we're talking about it, and that'll be the only thing pulling out today.
Oh,
Because Godejohn said it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Right.
Gypsy Rose learned how to read on her own by reading the Harry Potter books.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She would watch the movies and see that, and then go back to read the books, and okay, this is how I can put these words
Put the
together.
words together and figure out what they mean
Yeah.
and everything else like that.
I wonder if she called Hermione Hermione.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, what do you think of those words? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'd be hard to figure out. That's interesting, though. Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Of all books to start with, like, if you want to learn to read.
So it's a
It's-
child. It's definitely
Probably fun for her. Yeah.
the first book in the series is a kid's book.
Right.
And it's meant to read as you go, like to be a kid at that age. Let's say, Harry Potter goes in when he's, 12 years old or whatever.
Right.
So to be a kid at 12 years old and reading that book,
Mhm.
and then the next one comes out, and then the next one, you're actually growing up as Harry Potter is growing up. fun fact, Dee Dee habitually poisoned her stepmother by feeding her Roundup over the course of time.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, now her parents, like they showed the dad and the stepmom in the in that documentary, and the dad was like, they were like, "What do you think of your daughter?" And he was kind of like, "Well, no, we're really nice." And then the lady was like, "What?
Not English, please."
Yeah, but then like his wife, Dee Dee's stepmom,
Correct.
Like she was just saying how she was always stealing from people, taking their money. Like she was just a bad seed.
Writing bad checks.
Yes, writing bad checks, like just doing all kinds of bad shit.
Yeah.
She wasn't a good person.
So it's amazing that Dee Dee shows up and all of a sudden, her stepmother gets, falls ill. It's like day after day after day. This woman just stays ill. Dee Dee leaves. She magically, pops back to life.
Gets better.
She gets better. Roundup. God damn.
That's fucked
That's
up.
rough.
Following that up. So after regular applications of anesthetics to Gypsy Rose's mouth, in order to create a fabricated drooling problem, Dee Dee had some of Gypsy Rose's salivary glands removed, ultimately causing Gypsy Rose's teeth to rot away.
It was like Oragel or something like that, or one of them.
One
of them ones.
Go to the dentist and they put stuff in your mouth to numb it if they're drilling a cavity or doing or whatever.
And it just makes your mouth drool and run. And all that. Wow,
it's messed up, man. Visit after visit, varying doctors would conclude that there was nothing at all wrong with Gypsy Rose, and when that happened, Dee Dee would simply stop seeing those doctors. She'd just move on to a different doctor.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. They were saying, how did she get away with this for so long? And that's what she would do. She would just go to these different doctors. You don't think a doctor's not seeing the stuff that's put down, thinking that you got these from other doctors saying this is what's wrong. This is a new patient that we have. We're going to try to take care of him as much as possible. She even had like feeding tubes, and there was never any reason for her to have that.
They're just dangling tubes out of her body.
Yeah, they're just cutting her in places and stuff because the mom's saying, well, she needs a new feeding tube. So they would just pop one out, put another one back in.
One thing that played a big part in this too was the Hurricane Katrina. She was able to say a lot of the records were gone. They got washed away. So when they would ask, like, well, no, we lost them all in the flood.
Lost it in the flood.
Yeah.
And Dee Dee, I think she was so used in her life to making side hustles. She used, Gypsy Rose. She used her daughter as like the biggest side hustle.
100%.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And she didn't have to work because she has to take care of her daughter. People would see her, with the GoFundMe's, anything like I need to take my daughter to Disney. Can anybody help us? Oh, here's a trip.
Make-A-Wish stuff.
Yes,
sure.
everything.
And that's in addition to the government benefits.
Yes, the government checks, child support that she was collecting.
True. Oh, that's right. She was getting, I think, $1,200 or $1,600 a month from old Rod's Roadhouse. From Rod Blancharde.
Right.
That's right.
If anybody's been to Rod's Roadhouse, you'll understand.
Absolutely. You know what? It's funny. They keep getting older. I stay the same age.
That's it, man.
Old Rods. I went in there one time. I saw my dad.
We were there together. 2 generations.
No, it was just out of...
Hey, Matt, let's double team this one.
Hey, man, what's up, man? What you doing here, man?
Damn.
Give me the keys.
It's
like, George, what you doing, bro?
Dang. Keep it in your pants.
Yeah.
Dad.
No, my parents weren't together at the time.
Dad?
Still, it was funny.
Do you have gel in your hair?
Dad, is that you?
Is that mousse? Are you wearing sunglasses?
Man, that's a hell of a part you're sporting today.
Dang, I know. Is that a wig? Back on the topic of doctors. There was actually a doctor I had read. There was a doctor that had given Gypsy Rose the once over and then the twice over and then the thrice over and found, as every other doctor, nothing wrong with this kid as it was coming, as she was growing up. He actually was, he was threatening, what's her name?
Dee
Dee, that, look, man, I'm going to call the state or I'm going to call child services or something.
Right.
You're doing a really, messed up thing here. I forget how she came back and I don't want to say blackmailed him, but she had convinced him that no, or she might have just skipped town.
I think I read about that too. It was something on, how like you look something up and it has tons of things that pop up, like the Wikipedia. Sure. Yeah. I think it was saying the doctor actually wrote down, like, I believe it's a Munchausen
syndrome or whatever.
Syndrome or what, like he was writing down about that and he was going to turn it in, but I guess they can't do that if there's no signs of, what's that called?
Abuse?
Yeah. There was no signs of like direct abuse. Like he was saying, maybe like she thinks she has these problems.
That's an accusation, maybe, that if you're not 100%,
Or like, what are those laws that you can't state something to other
HIPAA?
like a HIPAA type
HIPAA,
thing?
yeah.
Like he couldn't share that information, what he thought, because it could have been like another doctor may have just diagnosed her as something, and he can't go against. Do you know what I mean? Like he's calling out somebody's.
Yeah, there's other doctors he's like screwing over because they
just gave her medication for leukemia or like this girl has been on medication since she was like what 6 months old or a year or some shit.
Yeah, you would think that would open up a lot of lawsuits,
Pandora's box,
liability. Like, oh, you were treating this kid that didn't need treated.
Yeah,
You know what
and
I
then that's what I
mean?
think. Yeah, it was one of those, I don't know, doctor type things where you couldn't like step on another doctor's toes on something. But this was just what he was saying. I see it. Like I can't find what this lady's telling me.
Man, that's real fucked up.
Yes, sir.
Well, as Gypsy Rose grew up, her mother kept a tight leash on her. We talked about this earlier. If ever they were out and Gypsy Rose would allude in any way there was nothing wrong with her, Dee Dee would be swift to punish her when they returned home. So this is after the hand clenching.
Right.
Like if she felt her hand clench, she knew she was going to get a paddling when she got home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her mom would make like a list of stuff, like how she would act when she would beat her with like a hanger if something like happened that day, or she made a list of like certain hits that she would get, smacks.
Yep. She'd get tied to the bed.
Yeah. Yep.
She did try to run away one time.
Indeed.
When she was older.
That actually had to do with the thing I pinned earlier about the fantasy, or
She went to Comic-Con, I think.
She was going to Comic-Cons or fantasy, whatever, like Star Trek, the equivalent of a Star Trek convention back in my day. Since 2001, I think. Like she was going for a good decade.
Right.
She would get into cosplay, all of that shit. And then at one point, I mean, unless I'm mistaken, at one point during that tenure of going to those, and it was maybe, again, in the very early 2010s, she basically, escaped.
Yeah, the story I heard, she ended up at a neighbor's door and was like...
Was it a neighbor's door or some other dude's hotel room?
It was the one I heard was like at a neighbor's door, and they were like, what are you doing? How are you walking?
Right.
And took her back home, and
it's a miracle. Let me take you back home.
It's a miracle.
Yeah, because it was somebody that knew her as being in the wheelchair and wheelchair bound and stuff. So there were just going back to what you were saying about the doctors and chances where this probably could have been ended earlier. That was another time where it was like if somebody would have stepped up and said something, maybe.
How did this go on for so long?
Yeah. It's just like amazing to me.
Yeah, and there it is. I mean, with that walking, I mean, Gypsy or the wheelchair, Gypsy Rose had never been sick, and she had always been able to walk. Her mother had simply made her pretend otherwise under threat of physical abuse. So it's like as she's a kid, she's just led to believe it. But I mean, as Matt had said, and we've all said, a dozen times by now, like this miracle. I'm sure at some point in her early teens, maybe even before, she realized, holy shit, I don't need this wheelchair. I don't need this walker. What is my mom doing to me?
This is bullshit.
Yeah, like she had to take a dump really late at night, or she had the runs.
Yeah.
She's like, holy shit, I just made it here. No problem.
Well, how does one's butthole know that it's so close to a toilet? Like,
when you get there, it's like a release.
As soon as you get there, it's like, oh my God, it's ready to go. Like now.
It's radar.
Well, think about it. You've been going to the bathroom since you were like, 2 or 3? When's like potty training? 2? Something like that. Right. So I think your body just knows.
Probably just like the same reaction. Your dick gets hard when you're near a certain thing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, it's just a body reacts.
Like if I'm watching.
I thought you were going to say when you got to poop. I was like, that's fucked up.
Damn.
So you better not piss when it happens.
Did you learn that from old Nicholas Godejohn?
Yeah. You don't want to have that happen when you're taking a shit, though.
No, but imagine.
No, that's not good.
Imagine like what this.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No, but imagine like how messed up this girl really is internally from taking drugs that like
oh my God,
cancer patients took. And when you see her today, you can tell that there's something off. And it's not just, the second grade education.
This is a lifetime of chemicals and medications.
Of abuse, of just all kinds of abuse.
Well, and let us not forget that her mom, with that surgery that she had performed, to be clear, the mom did not perform the surgery, but her mom encouraged having the surgery performed by making her, do the fake drool stuff, and then her salivary glands were removed. So she lost her teeth.
Well, that too, and her voice, how like high pitched it is. I don't know if you heard her talk
Yeah,
or any footage
very.
of that. And they said that a lot of times when kids have traumatic experiences as a young child, they get stuck at that age.
Yeah, they'll revert and just stay.
So they'll she was talking like that all the way up through.
Who's high pitch?
Yeah, high pitch Eric.
And
Yeah.
I think her mom left her teeth like that because it made her look more like it made her look slow,
Slower,
pitiful.
yeah.
It made her just look like this poor little girl. And then,
Yeah.
like you said, shaving her head constantly. And I guess she did question as she got older, like I want my hair pretty and long. And I'm like, no, we need to keep it clean. You're not feeling well.
Shaving it and stuff.
Yeah.
That's so weird too. And just think about that. Like, look, kid, I'm going to start shaving your head now because eventually your hair is going to fall out. Well, Jesus Christ, wouldn't I want to enjoy it for the little
While
time
you
I
have
got it?
Yeah, right.
Christ, I'm 47 years old. I still want to hold on to my hair as long as I can.
Right.
Jesus.
But she's basically taking like a child. That's like if you would find like a kid somewhere, like in the wild or something like a Tarzan thing.
Mm.
And then you would just
Yep.
every day doing these things to this kid, which they don't know any different.
Yep.
Right,
It's
they
like
don't
this
know
little
to
thing
fight
of clay that you're molding into whatever you want to mold it into.
That's a good analogy, man.
Yep.
Matt, that's a really good analogy. It's like Tarzan. It's like taking a kid away from a typical upbringing
of
and
the
putting
norm.
it in the goddamn jungle.
Yes, and just here, this is what you're used to. All these kids over there, no, you don't pay attention to that. This is us. This is what we do.
Well, Matt, you had been right all along.
Oh,
Indeed. Ultimately, don't seem so surprised. Always a tone of
for
surprise.
the first time.
Ultimately, Dee Dee would be posthumously diagnosed with Munchausen syndrome by proxy. That is, in fact, where a caregiver creates the appearance of health problems in another person, typically their child.
Yeah.
And it's just a hustle, just
And-
making money.
The term they use now, I guess they said, is factitious disorder imposed on another. They don't call it that, I guess, anymore. I don't know why. I guess they just, I don't know. But yeah, they say now factitious disorder imposed on another. I heard that on like one of those shows or like 2020 or whatever, and I looked it up, and that's what they say now.
Current affair.
Current affair, it might be.
Hard copy.
There was also a thing where her dad called on her 18th birthday. So her dad was trying to be involved in the life, you know what I mean? But
Rod.
He called on her 18th birthday, and the mom answered and was like, "Don't tell her she's 18." And he was
She
like,
thinks she's 14.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like, "What do
He
you
was
mean?"
like, indubitably.
right.
Indubitably.
Buy you Rod. But yeah, he thought that was a little odd. He thought a lot of this stuff was odd, but of course, like, she kept him away from her almost her whole life, so he couldn't really.
He said he got to meet her at like McDonald's for an hour here and there.
That was it.
So it is. I'm.
Go ahead, John.
I'm curious or intrigued as to what was the cause. Like, what was if there were one, if you had to pick one, what was the cause for this Munchausen syndrome by proxy? And that is to say, in Dee Dee's mind, was it A, she needed to feel needed, or the need to feel that attention that she's such a great caregiver, or two, like Matt had said, was this just a hustle all along?
Yeah,
and she had a kid. It's like, sweet, here's my opportunity to make some bank.
Yeah, it's one of those two for sure.
Preying on
Those
the
are the only
emotions
two
of others.
options.
Yeah, there's no really
So we
other
can't.
option.
I don't know about three.
If there's a third, I can't think of it.
No.
I just think it's got to be one of those two, or maybe a mix of the two. Like maybe
I think it's a mix.
Maybe it started out with the I want the sympathy feeling, but then once the money started rolling in, it's like, oh shit, I'm going to keep this train rolling.
Yeah, according to a people.com article on this, there was alleged sexual abuse by a family member on both Gypsy and her mother.
And Dee Dee.
Yeah, so this is alleged. I'm not even say who it was, but
usually
they were saying maybe that could have triggered this.
in these whacked
in the
out
mother,
stories,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
that's always in there. That's always a possibility.
Right. So, but who knows?
Crack is whack.
I think maybe it was for the attention, and then, in my opinion, I think probably for the attention, and then the all the free perks were like
Sure.
a bonus, like, oh, we get to go to Disney World. Disney World's not cheap.
No.
No.
You can go there for
No, it is not.
for free.
She went there
you know
quite a
what I
few
mean?
times. Like she loved going to Disney. That was like her thing.
And then you go to the front of the line. You're riding anything. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just like
That's what I usually put a cast on. I go to Disney.
you go to
Well,
Disney
dude,
World. Yeah.
If you
I get
go
some
to,
crutches.
I gotta believe if you go to Disney World in a wheelchair, you got to be treated like a pharaoh. Like people
Oh
are
my God,
picking you
yeah.
up out of the chair and putting you in rides and doing this, that, and the other thing.
The characters come over. They're pushing
Yeah,
kids
they're
out
the
of the
first
way.
one, yeah.
Dropping
to-
grapes in your mouth,
Right.
Yeah.
It's like
fanning you. Yeah.
for sure. But I'm sure that was a lot to do with that. Plus, like he said, with the extreme home makeovers, you know what I mean? You got that guy showing up.
Yep.
We're going to remodel. We're going to knock this thing down, rebuild it.
Yep.
I mean,
They did a lot. for
Build
them.
that wall.
build that wall. Yeah.
Build that wall.
She was getting a lot of perks for sure.
Well, once the news of Gypsy Rose's lifelong abuse made its way to the prosecutors, it was clear that Gypsy Rose would not be charged with first-degree murder. In exchange for a plea bargain, she was sentenced to 1 count of second-degree murder and was sentenced to 10 years.
Do you think that was fair?
I mean, I guess based on all the stuff that came out.
Well, they took
about
away
it.
they took away the first degree after they looked into the case a little bit. They're like,
Right.
oh, okay, we got to give this girl some kind of leniency.
Yeah. But
And her upbringing, I mean, that had to, yeah, for sure.
that was one thing that came out of the prosecutor's mouth. He was like, look, it's uncovering all of this and everything that old Dee Dee was doing, I can't, this is an extreme, unusual circumstance. I'm not going to charge her with first degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, I think 10 years to give her 10. But then again, I mean, she was sending like pornographic pics. She was meeting a guy to like. But then again, is she basing like you're not going to stop like a young teenager or a young woman from blossoming into
You're
like
still going to have that.
Right.
yeah, you're still going to have the sexual urges. You're going to have all that as she's developing. But I think she was so far behind. Like I said, the drugs and stuff in her system since she was a kid.
Yeah. Oh, and again, stopping at
everything's-
second grade.
Yeah, second grade education.
Yeah.
Because I think they asked her that in court. Like, what grade what is the highest grade you completed? She said second.
So I see where I see where any one of us would go and say, man, good for her. She killed that terrible, miserable bitch of a mother of hers. Conversely, she could have just picked up and ran away. She could have just as easily done. And again, one more time, have you seen pictures of this Dee Dee broad? She's like 500 pounds.
Yeah, you're not getting chased.
That's why she had to be stabbed 17 times.
right.
But that's the what is that? What's that called? When you're
Diabetes.
no.
You have
when somebody like kidnaps you, but you're like you can't do anything against them because
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
I mean, this was her mom. Like she wouldn't do that because she knows she's not supposed to.
Also, a great song by the rock band Muse, Stockholm Syndrome.
Oh, music
Good
is great.
song.
Where do we see them? Was that in
In
Maryland?
Baltimore.
Oh yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
Stockholm syndrome,
Yeah.
always out tonight.
But yeah, exactly what you're saying, Zab. I agree, and that's what I think that's what the majority of people say. Why didn't you just tell somebody and
or
why didn't
run
you?
or run away.
Because she
Right.
was scared shitless.
And when I get that part,
Because she's gonna
too.
get home, mom's gonna put her on a incubator or whatever the hell she had her on,
Yeah, I get
and give
all
her
that too.
some quaaludes.
That woman was 500 pounds. You could outrun her.
Mhm.
But again, if you
it's-
get
it's
caught, she's going to King Kong Bundy off the top rope.
That's
Right.
a tough one, man.
I get both sides of it,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. Like part of me is like, yeah, why didn't you just speak up? And then part of me is like, well, she didn't speak up because of all the years of abuse.
Yeah.
And she just
Even Goldfinger, 82 there was, I mean,
Goldfinger, yeah.
that guy had some problems, man.
Goldenrod.
Did we mention that he was caught, like when they looked at his jacket, he was arrested for masturbating and watching porn at a McDonald's for 9 hours.
God damn.
They
They
had
just
him
caught him after 9
masturbating.
hours?
They had him masturbating on tape. They didn't know what he was doing, but they looked back at the tape. He was at the McDonald's for 9 hours.
What, on a
watching-
phone?
Yeah, on his phone, jerking off in a
9
McDonald's.
hours.
9 times.
9 times.
And you guys can look that up. That's a fact.
That's too many.
That's a fun fact.
That is just 9 hours.
Exactly. Like this guy has an 82 IQ. If you can't do what you need to do in 9 minutes, that's even a long time. You got
Right.
some problems, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Look, that reset time on him is pretty good for 9 hours.
9
9 hours
hours.
straight.
And then
Like
I
Dave-
guess
like David Blaine.
when they finally got him there, he also was charged with a weapons charge for having like some sort of illegal pocket knife or something like that. Jesus Christ. So yeah, this guy had problems.
Oh,
man.
speaking of knife, I had read that after he after Nicholas Godejohn did the deed and stabbed old big fat Dee Dee 17 times, they mailed the knife.
Yes, I saw that.
The knife and the gloves.
From Missouri to Nicholas's house.
Yeah, they shipped
So
the
in
murder
case they
weapon.
got pulled over, whatever. Well, I don't have it.
Yeah, you don't have a
Why
with you.
would you do? Like, there's no rivers. You couldn't think of just getting a shovel and burying it.
I know.
Like,
In the
We'll
middle
ship
of
it to-
Missouri, there's no other place to put a knife.
correct. We have to
Yeah.
send it to ourselves via mail. We can do keep it.
They never watch any gangster movies where they just wipe it down and throw it in the
No, you
in
just
a
got to
dumpster.
wrap it up in something and then hand
Well,
it to
and
somebody,
now
you know what I mean?
again, with whom are we dealing? Basically, a second grader and an 82 IQ dude
Mhm.
So
who
we
was
call
on
him 84.
who was on the autism spectrum.
See, I was hoping all that was made up too. The 82 part
Mm.
when you were talking about all the stuff that was made up, but
Nope, that one was true.
that was true.
He's
Okay.
not so bright. And in
Okay.
fact, not only is he not bright, but when it came to the prosecution, Nicholas was not nearly as lucky as Gypsy Rose. Again, he's the one who had the knife. And despite his attorney's arguments relative to his mental illness and low intelligence, it took a jury not more than 2 hours to return with a verdict of guilty to a charge of first-degree murder. Nicholas was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for the first-degree murder and an additional 25 years on a charge of armed criminal action. Now, I don't know what that means.
Probably
Armed
the
criminal
use
action.
of the knife. Or trying to get rid of the evidence, maybe. Armed
No.
criminal action. I don't know. We'll have to look that up.
Well, that
J-Dub got a...
J-Dub,
Let us know on the
what is an
armed criminal
armed criminal action?
that's at McDonald's.
Left arm or right arm?
Yeah, right.
Double Dutch rudder.
2 counts on the left arm, 8
Right.
counts on the right.
That ain't right.
Yeah.
That ain't right at all.
But see, again, in this guy's defense, this girl was promising this guy who, if you've seen this guy, you would know she's offering him sex. She's sending this guy pictures. So this guy is so like, he's not thinking
Clearly.
clearly. I
He's
mean,
in the
come on,
fall.
82. Yeah,
Correct.
all he's thinking about is like this girl who's dressing up in cosplay for him.
Yep.
And she's telling him what to do and promising him sex, giving him sex. And he's like, look, whatever you need, girl, just give me some of that good loving.
You are
Right.
basically the only chance I ever
Yes.
have at getting laid.
Well, no, he had a girlfriend
Yeah,
before
there's
this.
other girls,
So
yeah.
he's getting chicks off the Christian Mingle.
Oh,
He's banging mad
I
honeys.
forgot about that.
Big Dick Nick on his
Yeah.
Christian Mingle.
I hear they call him Sweet Dick Nicky.
Mm.
All
He said,
right.
look, girl, you got the vicious wet wet.
Isn't it true too? As your IQ goes down, your dick size goes
Yes,
up.
gets up. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Just look at, what's his name from the Eagles? Nick.
Foles.
Yeah, Nick Foles.
He has. Yeah, his IQ is probably pretty high. But
I know.
yeah.
I'm just having
yeah.
fun.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like the guy that sings After the Boys of...
Oh, Don Henley
Tom Henley. Does he have a Big Johnson?
No, you said from the Eagles. I was trying to-
from the Eagles. Yeah, right.
It's like who? Don Henley?
God damn it. Why didn't I pick up on that?
Right.
Wait, who was the other guy? Gosh, he had another couple good songs too.
Glenn Fry.
Glenn Fry.
Fry.
Yeah.
And who's the guitarist that makes all the weird faces and stuff
I can't
from the Eagles?
you why. Oh, the long hair
I
dude.
mean, Glenn
Yeah.
Fry played guitar.
No. The other guy. He's
Don
like-
Henley played drums.
Don Henley, but this guy, he make like odd faces and shit. I can't think of his name.
I can't
It's
think
a
of his
big name. You would know it.
Yeah, that Eagles guy.
Yeah, that Eagles guy.
That's when you said Eagles. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Best-selling album of all time.
Yep. Hotel California. Is
Wow.
it?
Eagles' greatest hits.
Oh, Eagles greatest is okay.
Best-selling album
I like-
globally of all time.
I like when we're hitting those little vintage albums.
Joe something or other.
Piscopo.
No,
Satriani.
not Joe Cocker. Joe. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Well,
Broadway Joe.
Broadway Joe, as we had mentioned, Nicholas is ineligible for parole. However, Gypsy Rose was released in 2022 after serving 7 years in prison. Fun fact, currently, Gypsy Rose has more than 10 million followers on TikTok.
So she got the same amount or served the same amount of time as our library heist guys from last week
Dang.
or from, I guess it'd be 2 weeks ago.
She helped to plot a murder,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, she got 7 years. That's
7
right, like the
years.
library heist dudes.
Those guys tased the girl with a stun pen
It's not bad.
and stole some books.
Stole some books
Yeah.
and tried fencing it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a number of federal crimes in that.
They didn't
Right.
have the same upbringing though.
No, these guys
no.
were in college. She went as far as second grade.
Yes.
Right.
And I think they kind of knew what they were doing. They planned it and everything.
Her and Forrest Gump, by virtue of Forrest Gump, Godejohn.
Yep.
the big plan they came up with was come to my house on the bus, stab my mom, and then we'll have sex, and then we'll run away and have more sex.
Yep.
So I saw here you have a fun fact on her name.
Oh, that's right.
So I have another one too on that, but
So yeah, go ahead, man.
no, go ahead with
All right,
yours
so
first.
according to sources, Gypsy Rose is her name is a hyphenated name, Gypsy-Rose. The Gypsy portion was a name that Dee Dee liked. However, Rose came about because her dad, Rod, liked Guns N' Roses.
How about that?
Yeah.
GNR.
I
So
wonder what his favorite song was.
Hmm.
It's a tough one.
Sweet Child of Mine, of course.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Good.
I had another one on here too. That possibility. They said there was a 1930 burlesque dancer named Gypsy Rose Lee,
Mm.
and her mother was a stage mom, and she forced her to become famous. Like basically,
Oh.
like you know what I mean. So,
Did Marilyn Manson date that girl?
oh, that was Dita Von Teese.
Dita Von Teese, yeah. She was
yeah.
like, she would do burlesque in like champagne glasses and stuff.
Right.
That's pretty hot.
Never heard of that broad.
Yeah, she's
you
like
serious?
a tattoo artist, right?
Yeah.
Isn't she a
Gigi Hadid.
No,
It's like-
not a hot.
What is it like?
Van Teese.
Dee Dee Ramone.
Dee Von Teese or Dita? I forget how you even say it.
Veta, yeah, that girl.
Inagata Devita.
Inagata La Vida, baby. That's gonna bother me about that Eagles guy. But I know my boy Metric Raj. He texts me after every episode.
Joe
with
Walsh.
Joe Walsh.
Joe Walsh.
Bam.
Yeah, I knew it was
Bow.
Joe something other.
Boom.
So there you go, Metric Raj. You don't have to
In the
text me.
face.
When we would come up with it eventually. We're just,
Matt with the save. Well done.
Yeah, he hit me up after Karate Kid. There's a couple things that we'll get to on the next Vintage Cinema.
Oh, God.
But there's a lot of things during the episode we'll be talking about and be like, oh, trying to name somebody and we'll get it a little off. So.
Yeah.
But this is a wild one, man.
Oh, I almost forgot to mention.
Ooh.
While in prison, Gypsy Rose got married.
Yes.
Yeah.
She-
We got a fun fact to add on there.
She married, what was it, a teacher?
Yeah, he's like 37.
Dang.
So he's a little older than her. I guess they, I don't know if he sent her a letter.
They were pen pals.
Yeah, is that what it was? Like a letter?
Mhm.
And
I
then,
love that. I love that still exists.
Yeah, it is.
Pen pals.
It is cool. But yeah, they hooked up then and
Nice.
ended up getting married in prison.
So she's currently 33,
33, 34, something
Yeah.
like that.
somewhere around there. All right.
Yeah, it sounds about right. And yeah, she's living her best life right now.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? She says she has regret for how everything went down. He does not. He said he would do it again if asked.
And get sent pictures.
Godejohn? Nicholas Godejohn.
Yeah,
No regrets.
They said they asked him if he would do it. They asked him if he would do it all over again. He was like,
Have
yeah,
a conversation on the telephone.
You got that tattoo in prison that says no regrets.
no
Yeah.
regrets. They
That's right.
misspelled it. But yeah, this guy. He's,
Who are the chefs?
who are the chefs?
Yeah.
the
The
chefs.
commercial.
What is that from?
That's a commercial.
A commercial
Ah, that's
for a
right,
Snickers
right.
bar.
I hate
Well,
the
what's
chefs.
who owned the Chiefs?
Who owned the Chiefs? That's Slapshot.
That's right. That's right.
Who owned the Chiefs?
You said that on one of the podcasts,
Yeah,
and I was
who
like,
owned the Chiefs?
yeah, I was like, man, what is that from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wow. So she got married, and Godejohn would do it again if he had the chance.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he loved that sweet. Oh, I saw. So if you look at pictures of this girl,
Uh-huh.
because there were pictures taken again. This girl
Mhm.
was in somewhat of the spotlight, as we just crushed by now. The GoFundMe's and the Make-A-Wishes and the
Mhm.
Habitat for Humanity and the home makeover stuff and whatever.
Mm.
So there are certainly the pictures of this girl growing up, whatever. There are pictures of her as she had teeth, then after she had lost teeth, and now she's had some dental work done that it's basically she has like two white horseshoes of teeth that are just
And-
permanently now affixed bridges because they can get to the jaw bone
Uh-huh.
and drill that up in there, but yeah, so she just has permanent teeth there,
Yeah, I saw in the interview
fake
like,
teeth.
recently, and you could see in the back there's like,
So she like pops them out.
Yeah,
and put
there's
them in a
like
pop-
you can
okay.
see them like the silver like
Mm.
from the fake teeth in the back, but
Like that bad guy from Skyfall.
So
right.
you think Godejohn got a gummy yummy?
yeah, he
Oh,
probably
shit,
did. Hell
yeah.
yeah. I wonder how he's making out on Prison Mingle.
Oh, not good.
Mm.
Nah, he's not doing well in prison.
No,
No, but Prison Mingle, that dating site for
Prison
prisoners.
Mingle.
So, yeah.
he's getting it in the prison wallet.
Mhm.
Yeah, so definitely a crazy story. Definitely the hot one right now. So hopefully we're striking while the iron's hot with this story because it's still all in the news. She was released, what'd you say, December
2023.
It was like 2023, but the
23?
I got 22, but
Okay.
look, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just going.
22, 20. Yeah,
right. But
she's out and about.
yeah,
She like shows up at like big. She's on TMZ all the time.
oh yeah, she's at the AFC Championship game. I
Mhm.
saw her up there in the.
She was hanging out with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
She's up
Like
there
giving
in the
high
booth.
fives. Yeah.
Dang.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
She's up there with Kelsey
Kelsey
Grammer.
Grammer.
Yeah, Kelsey
What the hell's
Grammer,
Kelsey Grammer doing at that game?
Who,
the other Kelsey.
man, who'd you kidnap? Kelsey Grammer?
Yeah.
Chelsea Clinton?
She'll be at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, halftime. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
singing. I think actually.
Yeah.
She did sing. Speaking of that, they have like on those. I watched a couple of the documentaries, bits and pieces. I mean, there's one that came out in 2017 on HBO. There's
Is that
one
new one on Hulu or whatever? I didn't see that.
Yeah, I saw Hulu, and then there's one on Lifetime that's most current,
Mm.
and
The Victim Channel.
the Victim Channel. Yeah, so
Yep.
that one's like the most current one. So
There's some
It's-
hot actress that plays her in that one.
well, no, you're thinking of the movie.
Oh,
If you
okay,
did a movie. This
okay.
is like documentary style.
Because I seen the one, I was like, man, she don't look nothing like that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
way,
They
she's
got
got
Alyssa
all of her
Milano
teeth.
again.
Yeah.
Alyssa Milano again. But they show like clips of her singing back in the day. Like her mom would take her to these fundraisers, and she would get up there and sing and
like
stuff
in the
like
wheelchair and like and they were like,
that.
yeah,
Right. People are like cheering for her and stuff like that. But
That's messed up, man.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, it's just insane what people do to get a free ride, or attention.
Attention.
Nobody
Yeah.
knows really what the motive. Like you said,
Yeah.
I'd be curious.
Maybe the mom was so mentally screwed up.
That's
You
it.
never know.
I mean, that's it.
All in all, it's a tragic story. It is, we joke and have fun with it and stuff like that. But all in all, it is sad. It's a shame that happened to her. I mean, wouldn't wish that on
I
anybody.
mean, yeah, she was just a person, like all of us.
The mother was still a person that got murdered. I mean, this guy, if he is having issues with, what'd you say, dissociative
disorder, something.
identity disorder, and other mental issues, like you feel bad for him in a way. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Any takeaways from the story? Any quick takeaways, giveaways?
I think there might have been a third possible cause. Because I'm thinking now about what Dee Dee did to her stepmom with the Roundup poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she did just want to keep and so like the medications and the bullshit. Maybe, just maybe, there's a part of her that wanted to keep her ill.
So she could take care of her.
It's almost
kind of thing?
no. It's almost
Oh.
like torture. It's so like if you have I don't know, like it's like keeping something alive just long enough, but still keeping it alive, but it's still in writhing pain. It's still like God. It's praying for death, right? Like you pick an animal like you would just not want to, but obviously not want to, but pick an animal that you could just torture the shit out of, and it's not dying. It's not dying.
Are you
but
okay, Zap?
Yeah.
It wishes it were dying, and
Even
instead you're just keeping it alive long enough to just keep on torturing it.
Yeah, like not feed it for a couple days and just like
Something.
Here's a little syringe.
Kind of like the
water.
human centipede.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of all of these
exactly.
all of these crazy ass killers we've done or we've covered, and what some of them had done with animals in their younger years, in their formative years, like Dahmer or whomever, like messing around with cats or like hanging cats, and then you tie it to the ground and you put a stake through its tail and you trying to shoot it with a BB gun.
Yeah,
That
just-
cat is praying for death, but
Right.
you're still keeping it alive.
Yeah.
Well,
just-
maybe Dee Dee was like you said about molested or something when she was a child. Maybe something clicked or
Could have been,
switched,
yeah.
She's kind of.
and then she never recovered from it.
Either
Yeah.
way, that chick's real messed up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, can you wrap it up?
Dang.
No, it's that time.
Always.
Her timing is perfect.
It is perfect.
Spot on.
I think we've beaten the shit out of this one.
It's almost like it's a button.
You would think.
It's not though.
Her
Yeah.
voice is angelically consistent every time.
Every time it's the
Every
same
time.
message.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I appreciate that story. Zap writing everything up.
Hey, Matt. Yeah, thanks for bringing this
And
one
Matt
to.
for bringing
Yeah,
this to
yeah.
us.
This is a good one. Good.
Yeah. We'll definitely be back next week with a cool vintage cinema review, or maybe vintage album review.
Oh, now
That could be coming.
It could be.
That'd be coming. We got to work on scheduling on that. Definitely back after that, hopefully with a cool true crime or compelling story as always.
I
Did you
feel
put
compelled.
out what the album is yet? Did you say anything, or is it like a teaser?
Should we tease?
Well, we've already. I think.
Oh, we said.
Oh, we
yeah.
did say
it's
it.
been
Okay.
released.
Yeah. All
before.
right.
Yeah,
There
it's
we
going
go.
to be
then.
Slippery When Wet,
There you go.
Bon Jovi, with Nutley Nick.
the theme of this is going to be what were the albums, at least what, from guidance from Nutley Nick, what we're looking to do is do the review of the albums that made the band.
That's it.
Not necessarily their first album, but what was the album that really broke out the band?
And I had a couple family members that were over here, and they saw our posters up here, and I think 2 of them said, "Hey, Bon Jovi," and I'm like,
"How dare you?"
How, that's sacrilege, right?
That was
Can't say
sacrilegious.
That's Kip Winger.
Kip Winger would be turning over at his grave if he were dead.
Kip Winger
Right.
punch you out for something like that.
Kip Winger is a saint.
It's
And,
not Bon Jovi.
To put it out there, if we have any ladies, any lady listeners who have the slippery when wet tattoo, you can come
there was
in
a tattoo.
and sit in on the basement.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Also,
You don't know what I'm talking about? You never seen that?
No, I don't remember that.
It's the slippery one. You never seen that?
People like
There's
off
girls
like
that have
a
like
street sign. Or
yeah,
whatever.
the street sign, the
Yep.
slippery when wet. There's girls that have like a tattoo of
oh
that
yeah,
on their butt.
you could find those girls at Rod's Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
sure.
They also have JBJ tattoos.
I had that on my skids. My
Yeah,
pants.
yeah. That's what it is.
Remember
The slippery
skids?
when wet.
The shoes?
Skids were like the pants,
No,
kind of
this-
like Zubas.
You would
but
wear
they
you would
were
wear your skids
Zubas.
with the Giorgio Bertinis.
Yes,
Mm.
yes.
No, I'm good.
From
Brought
merry-go-round.
all the girls to the yard.
But all that fun talk right there can be found on Vintage Album Review, possibly coming out next week.
Possibly.
Definitely hoping. Definitely find us on Facebook and Instagram at Old Dirty Basement, on TikTok at Old Dirty Basement Podcast. We now have a YouTube channel, Old Dirty Basement Podcast. Go over there. You should see video. Right here, we're shooting it. I think that camera's on right there. Yeah.
Shooting it.
Not this one?
I can go to Zap's camera. Let's see here. Boom. Boom. Look at that. I control
Boomtown.
it. Yeah.
Am I in there?
You're on there.
Sweet.
You're right there.
Yeah.
It's right there.
So head over to the YouTube channel, check out our videos. You can put faces to the voices and all that. And leave us that 5-star rating on Spotify. Apple, you can leave us a written review. And I guess that's it for now. So we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Peace. Thanks for hanging out in the Old Dirty Basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is available streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram, and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We Audi 5000.